I mean, in my brain it works. I just don't know if it's really gonna work in real life.
Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am Brandy. In today's video, I am building something. I have never built a closet organization system like this before, and I am so excited that I finally just jumped in, got it done. Thankfully it worked. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you find it motivating or helpful in any way. It helps my channel grow and it lets me know that you are enjoying the content I am putting out there. All right, let's go. How my projects typically start is that I have a vision for that exact space. I then draw it out on paper like this. I try and jot down the measurements also. That way when I go to Lowe's or Home Depot, I actually take this paper with me. And then from there, I will go to Pinterest. And now I try and find whatever blog I can find that did something as close to what I'm envisioning as possible. Because once you have an idea, somebody out there has probably already had that idea too, and they've already written up a full tutorial with pictures on it. Yes, I know our ideas aren't as unique as we think, but hey, this is gonna let us take out a ton of the guesswork, so we're gonna go with it. Once I find one that is very similar to what I'm looking for, I'll go ahead and sort through the post about it, and I'll typically look and see what materials and building methods they've used, because if it's something that I'm just not capable of doing, I'm not gonna do it, and I'll go and try and find another blog post that has a similar building method than what I am capable of. Now, she didn't read my mind on this one, and there are things that I would do differently, things I don't need. I don't want to do the shoe cubbies, and I want it to actually be floating because we have carpet in the kids' rooms right now, and I know that will eventually have to be either changed or replaced, so I wanted to make sure this was floating. I do not want to have to try and put flooring around it or take it off. This thing is going to be permanent. So once I figured out that she didn't use any crazy tools and I could actually complete this project along with her, I went ahead and customized the measurements to the baskets that I chose. Now, I would highly recommend picking out your baskets first. You don't want to get your closet system up and then think, oh my goodness, now I have to find something that's exactly 12 inches by 13.5 inches wide type of thing. So I picked my baskets first. Target had their Y-weave baskets on sale, and I absolutely love these things. They last forever. So I went ahead and got 6 of them. After I got all of that figured out, I headed off to Lowe's, and before I went to the lumber section, naturally, I stopped in the closet section just to see if they didn't have anything that was super affordable and that I just could not pass up, and obviously they did not, so we're going to keep building. I didn't end up filming in the actual lumber section, but I'm going to walk you through all of the things that I got, and we're going to start with the 3 1 by 12 by 6s, and this is going to create the main structure of the build. And I'm putting a coat of polyacrylic on all of the boards, at least on the part that's going to be showing, to lock in the tannins. The knots are known for bleeding tannins, and putting this top coat on is just going to kind of seal those in. Especially when you're painting with white paint, you can really start seeing that yellow bleed through after a few months to years. So that is why I'm doing the top coat of poly. And then I'm going to start clearing out Mackenzie's closet. First, I do have to do a little bit of cleanup in her bedroom, but I'm going to let these dry. So we're going to head to her room, and I'm going to kind of push everything into a corner just so I can work in here better. I started her bedroom makeover when I did the board and batten and everything like that back in, I think it was actually February. So this was a long time ago. And I bought that dresser in the corner from Walmart, but it was through a marketplace seller. And you guys, I spent hours putting this thing together, and the smell of chemical is still so strong that I cannot put her clothing in the dresser. I've tried baking soda, I've taken the drawers out, I've cleaned the entire thing with Odoban, and I'm just kind of at a loss at this point. So I'm going to move this thing down to the garage, and I'm going to let it completely air out. I'm hoping to actually just use the closet organization system as her dresser, which will free up so much more room. I'm thinking maybe I can turn the Barbie house on that wall. You guys, I had no idea Barbie houses were so massive, but she has been living out of laundry baskets. With school being back, we need a real solution to this problem. So let's go ahead and start emptying out her closet. That way I can take the wire rack down and all of the supports that come along with that, so that I can get the drywall patched with some joint compound.
We're up high, got no clue. How do I know what I mean to you? Yeah. Say it out loud, spill the truth. Tell me how I'm gonna get close to you. Yeah. High and low, in between, acting out, make a scene. Working on our body language, working on our body language. Baby, now tell me exactly how you feel. You mean everything to me. Let me love you on the inside. Love you on the inside. Tell me you're lost, feel so blue. Leaving me on the spot, so confused. Oh, baby. Tasting so sweet, acting so rude. Won't you tell me what I'm supposed to do? Yeah. High and low, in between, acting out, make a scene. Working on our body language, working on our body language. Baby, now tell me exactly how you feel. I'm just trying to keep it real. Let me love you on the inside, love you on the inside.
Now that we've made the holes, it is time to fill the holes. And before I start in with the joint compound, I'm going to go ahead and do a hack that I saw from Kelsey Romito DIY on YouTube. And she puts toilet paper into the hole before she puts her joint compound. And that helps the joint compound not sink into the hole as much. So I am going to try this. My husband actually filled the holes in Madison's room when I did her room a few weeks ago. And we had to do multiple coats because the center kept like caving in. So I'm going to go ahead and stuff these holes with toilet paper. And since we're not really going to have any weight on the wall, like the back wall, I think it'll be a fun little experiment. So let's stuff these holes with toilet paper, and then we can cover them with some joint compound.
Love you on the inside, love you on the inside. Tell me exactly what you mean. You mean everything to me. Let me love you on the inside, love you on the inside.
The holes are officially stuffed with toilet paper, and it seems to have worked really well. And this is the first time I have ever used joint compound, so don't come at me in the comments if I'm doing something wrong. I love some constructive criticism though, so definitely let me know in the comments down below if there's anything I should be doing differently. And once I got the joint compound, and yes, I am the messiest painter, caulker, joint compounder now, I guess, on the planet. So of course I already put my hand in joint compound, but definitely let me know in the comments down below if you see anything that I'm not doing correctly, because I was just kind of going with it. So we're just getting a nice layer on top of all of the holes. And while the joint compound dries, we are going to start building the organizational system. And now this is where the tip to make sure all of your boards are the same length if you don't plan on cutting them before you leave the store. These two, well actually the three 1x12x6s that I purchased were not all the same length, and I thought I was just going to be able to throw this thing together, add some screws, and we were going to be golden. But no, they were not the same length, and even if you're off by a little bit, when you're trying to build a square or a rectangle, it just does not work. So if you are very comfortable with a chop saw or a circular saw or a table saw though, by all means, you can get whatever size board you want and just cut it down. I was trying to get away with the least amount of cuts as possible, but as you can see, I did not get out of using the circular saw. I definitely need a lot more practice to feel more comfortable on this thing. And the table saw, just forget it. I could never get everything as even or down to the exact measurement that I needed. And now these pieces are the primed piece of wood that I bought from Lowe's that ended up being wider than the unprimed pieces. So if I went back and did it again, I would have just bought all unprimed wood and I would have just primed it myself. I was trying to get out of priming every single little piece of wood that they cut down for me, but then since it wasn't the same size, I had to trim all of these. And now I'm going to go ahead and use my Craig jig. I absolutely love this thing. This is probably the one thing that I was most comfortable using, that and a miter saw. I love using a miter saw or a chop saw. I can actually pick a measurement and cut that measurement, unlike trying to keep a straight line on the circular saw or finding a measurement on the table saw. I'm going to put a set of pocket holes in each corner of each of the shelves, so that will end up being like 48 pocket holes that I end up having to drill. Thankfully, this is the one thing that I'm comfortable doing though, so I didn't mind it. And I'm pretty sure this Craig jig, I want to say it was like $19, maybe $29, but I did get it years ago. And I actually got like a full-size Craig jig for my birthday last year, and we're coming up on my birthday again, so I really should probably get that out of the box and stop letting it intimidate me so bad. But let's go ahead and get all of these pocket holes drilled.
You only call me on the weekends when you're out and about, only chasing highs. You need me. He brings me flowers on a Tuesday. He gives me good loving, something that I never thought existed. I know what I need, ain't gonna lie. I know what I want, speaking my mind now. A queen needs a king to be by her side.
Back inside now, we are going to start assembling the actual organizer, and this is the bottom. And if you have an extra set of hands, you'll definitely want somebody to help, or if you have clamps, those work perfectly too. I went ahead and just put in a few pocket hole screws, and actually I grabbed the wrong set of screws when I started doing this. I was originally using thin coarse screws, and since this is pine and it's a softwood, I ended up having to switch to coarse thread screws, but thankfully I caught it when I was on this shelf, so I only had to swap out these screws. And now I'm just making sure everything is even on this side, and I'm going to go ahead and put screws into the right side of the organizer. Once we get the bottom screws in, I'm going to put the basket that I got inside the organizer just to double check the height. Numbers and measurements aren't my specialty. I know, shocking, right?
Need me, I'm painting pictures and I'm dreaming about that good love and something that I know you cannot give me. I know what I need, ain't gonna lie. I know what I want, speaking my mind now. A queen needs a king to be by her side.
I got her in the closet, and now I just remembered I need to do something with the drywall. I know I have to use a wet sponge and some sandpaper, but can you kind of see that, like the texture? I'm not sure which comes first, sand it or the sponge. I'm thinking maybe the sponge, or is the sponge when you put it on? I have no idea, but I have the sponge my husband uses and a sanding block, so maybe we'll sand it real quick. Actually, I'm gonna take this out first. You guys, I have no clue what I'm doing.
I've got this feeling, I'm feeling you could be the one. I see no reason why I should ever let you go. don't wanna wake up. If
Now it is time to put this back into the closet and put the top on. But the problem with this for me is that the top is going to require a precise cut. Perfect. I did that. Okay. Okay. Now we have to find center. Well, not really. Now we have to find the height we want. Maybe just above the baseboard. I wonder if I Craig it from the sides, if I could go up. Ooh, that would be a good idea. My thoughts on here is that this top is going to be holding the weight of the shelving unit, but I am going to be putting something along the bottom so that the bottom will actually rest on that. But in theory, I want to make sure the top, I mean overall, no matter what, is like super, super attached. And the thing with me is when I do stuff like this, I tend to overdo it, but that's fine. I mean, I'd rather overdo it than not do it enough. So I'm going to try on one side Craiging it and then seeing how that screws up into the top, because it's honestly, it's going to be on the sides and I can just like fill in the little holes. And then I can also take screws and go from the top down. I'm just worried about splitting this. So I have a lot to figure out and a lot of precise, and a lot of precise screw holes to make. Oh, I'm nervous. I think it has to work, but I don't want to like, I mean, in my brain it works. I just don't know if it's really going to work in real life. Let's just put it on and then we'll try it. Okay, so imagine this screw is going to go right here and then it's going to go up into that piece of wood. Okay, it's going to work. We're just claiming it. We're claiming it, y'all. We're claiming it. Okay, so now I need to mark center so we can hopefully have this a little bit centered in the closet. I'm not going for super centered because I can't stress over that too. Okay, for this part, I'm just gonna find center on here and then I'm gonna find center on the back wall, and then as long as they're like by each other, we're gonna go with it. So used these before. Can you see that? I've never used these. I've never used these before. Assuming you just like, oh, that's not bad. What do you do with that piece though? Sand it? Well, it seems like it could be a little messy, but I guess it will look better than that. Okay, let's try this. We need some wood glue. Might as well try on all of them. Be a nice little project. These are pocket hole plugs, and I've never used them before because anytime I do a project, my pocket holes are always hidden. So I figured it would be fun to just kind of experiment, but then it ended up requiring a ton of sanding. And since I was in Mackenzie's bedroom and I couldn't just carry this thing out, that was definitely not ideal. And a few days after I already had glued all of these in, I saw somebody use a product called plastic wood, and I would have definitely used that just to kind of fill the hole in, but this worked out. I just sanded it until you couldn't really see it, but since it's on the inside, I wasn't super concerned about it. I did not hit record when I put that thing of joint compound under the organizer, which is probably for the best because that is heavy and this was heavy and it was not pretty. But I'm gonna go ahead and cut the 1x4 that I'm gonna put around the bottom. Actually, I don't think I need to do the sides, probably just on that back piece. And then I'm gonna cut the 1x4s for up here and over here, and then we'll come back and we will attach them.
You give me this energy. It is like you set me free. Chasing highs to stay alive.
As you can imagine, the angles of the camera just were not great here, so I went ahead and put 2 screws in each of the studs. So that is up now, and now I can move that joint compound out so that I can do the supports for the sides.
But if I'm with you, I'll survive. So hold me close into the night, 'cause I need you to stay. You take me to paradise, that's why it's hard to wait.
Y'all, this side made me go crazy, and I had to have Michael come in and just put the screws in the wall. Apparently, he doesn't think it's an actual full stud, but maybe like a plywood backer or something. I have no idea. So we had to use a shorter screw, but we made it work. And now it is time to do the fun part. I'm going to poly that real quick, and then I'll probably do all the caulking and painting tomorrow.
Can I be around you for motivation? Just a little while now. A simple question, can I get closer? Just for motivation. Can I be around you for motivation? Just a little while now. A simple question.
I'm not sure what day we are on. We're on like 5 or 6 or something, but I did end up putting 2 screws in the bottom of that to go into the 1x4 that I have in the studs, just so the bottom didn't move. And then I need to go in and sand where I put those plugs for the Craig holes on the sides. I don't think I'm going to worry about the bottoms of the shelves, just because if I want to take them out and move them, that's just going to make it way harder. And then I am going to go ahead and just get a layer of paint on everything, and then I'll go back and fill in the holes and caulk all the seams when I can see everything a little bit better, because right now everything does look a hot mess, but I don't think it's going to be as bad as it looks. I didn't turn the vacuum on.
Huh? Don't you want me to?
Yes, please.
Okay.
In the front.
This one?
Yeah. Is it plugged in?
No. That was not working. What's the plug? There's no reach.
Here, baby, let me see it.
No reaching.
Just for motivation.
aside from not turning the vacuum on, sanding the plugs went pretty good. You could still see them a little bit and they weren't perfect. I definitely could have spent more time on it, but I just figured that it was good enough because nobody is really going to actually see them unless they're staring inside the closet, especially after we hang up the closet rods. So now we're just going to give everything a quick vacuum, and then I'm going to wipe everything down with a damp cloth so that we can start painting.
Stay a bit longer. Yeah, I just need you to. I just need you to. Stay a bit longer. I just need you to. Can I be a bunny for motivation? Just a little while. A simple question. Can I get closer? Just for motivation. Can I be a bunny for motivation? Just a little.
We are finally to painting. You guys, the power of paint is so underestimated. You can pretty much transform anything with a cheap gallon of paint. I had a gallon of Sherwin-Williams pure white left over from when I actually painted Mackenzie's bedroom. As you can see, there's still green painter's tape, and that's just because I needed to go back in and trim everything back out with the white because the pink had bled onto the white. I really wish I would have done that sooner, but the green tape is gone if you were wondering. But we're going to go ahead and knock this first coat of paint out. I was trying to keep this video under 30 minutes, so I'm going to see how quick I can get y'all through the rest of this build. I am so excited with how it turned out, so definitely stick around.
You had me at a low, 'cause where you go is where I go. I don't need nobody else. I got you, and you got me too.
You can ride all the blue. I wanna do what you want to.
We can leave and run away someday, someday.
I can't even think how many times I have recommended this stuff on my channel or how many tubes of this stuff I have bought, but I'm going to go in with my favorite wood putty and this fast dry caulking. Now, I usually use the slow dry one, just like the normal cheap one, but I wanted to be able to get my next coat of paint on it because clearly I'm not that great at finishing projects, guys. So we are going to fill all the holes that we see, and then we are going to caulk, and I ended up going a little crazy with the caulking. Now, I was not planning on doing all of the gaps on the shelves, but then once I saw how seamless it was making things look, I couldn't help it. So yeah, I pretty much put caulk on everything.
I've been saving you, and you save me too. Yeah, I need it. Don't you need me too? 'Cause I need you. Yeah, so call me anytime that you need a favor. Call me anytime I can come and sit in you. Oh. Call me anytime that you need a friend, and call me anytime when you're at a tight end. I got you, and you got me too. We can always make it through. What we do is what we do.
After I caulked all of the seams, literally all of them, well, except the back. I didn't caulk between the wall and the shelf on most of them. I did on the top though because it was more visible, but I didn't on all of the other shelves. I went ahead and put my last coat of paint on, and I'm not going to make you guys watch the entire process again, but just know I did put another coat of paint on it, and that just really tied everything together and made everything look completely seamless. And now that the closet is dry, it is time to find the heights that we would like for the closet rods. And now her closet did not comfortably fit an adult size shirt, or at least an adult size hanger when I first started. So I made sure to grab one of my shirts, and then I also grabbed her longest princess dress. Now, I had every intention of hanging up all of the rods and rod holders myself, but by the time I got to this point, you guys, I was tired and my brain hurt. So I was like, you know what? Michael, you want to come and help me? I did do the first one though, and I got it up on the wall, and then I realized, well, now I have to make sure everything is exact on the other side, and Michael is way better at that than I am. So I went ahead and just made room and let him come in. He did all of the measuring and the mathematics, and he cut the rods for me. So we got the closet rod holders up, and on these, one of the brackets has like an open side, so you can literally just lift the rod up. So if she grows and we have longer dresses, we can always just take a rod out. So I thought that was perfect for a growing child. And my son had actually mentioned how small it looked, and I was like, you're kidding, right? I had actually measured out the rods, and she ended up with more space, like a little bit more space than she did before with just the one rod. So even though it looks like a smaller amount of hanging space, she actually has just as much, if not more, and now she is fully able to get her own princess dresses down, pick out her own shirts and dresses for school. So this has worked perfectly for my 5-year-old. And just to show you that everything fit back into her closet that I had taken out, I went ahead and just put everything back. She has a lot of clothes from my oldest daughter hanging up in her closet, and she's not actually wearing them, so I need to go ahead and do a massive declutter in her closet. It is time to start rolling the before and afters though. This project turned out better than I could have ever imagined. It was definitely a learning curve with some of the parts of the project, but I'm so glad I stuck through it and we got it done. I only had to ask my husband for some help a few times, but if you have any questions, definitely leave them in the comments down below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It helps my channel so much and I appreciate it even more. I will see you all in my next one. Bye!
They were in high school when they met, and things got kinda awkward. With sparks in the air, he would stare at her in class, and she would try to act cool. But it was obvious, like, ooh,